Mark, welcome to the show, man. Where are you at?
Brett, thank you so much for having me. I'm in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona.
Ooh, over there on the west side of the country. Very good, very good. So a little bit of a time difference here. Tell us a little bit about the temperature out there. We're recording this here at towards the beginning of fall. Is it fall already? In 2024. What's the weather out there?
Yeah, so Scottsdale has two seasons, spring and summer. We're definitely in the heart of summer. We're in record-breaking heat right now. It is a balmy 102.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's some inside heat as well, too. But a lot of what you have out there is what we're going to talk about today, land, right? Lots of land out there. Tell us a little bit about your background, Mark, professionally, where you started and where you're at now, and then we'll tiptoe into real estate.
Yeah, so if we rewind the tape 24 years, and we go to 2000, I was a miserable, micromanaged, 45-minute commute to work and back investment banker, specializing in mergers and acquisitions with private equity groups. And Brett, it got so bad for me. I didn't get the Sunday blues, anticipating Monday coming around. I get the Friday blues, anticipating the weekend going by really fast and having me back at work on Monday. So my firm hires this guy, and he's telling me that as a side hustle, he's going to tax deed auctions. He's buying up raw land, pennies on the dollar. He's flipping them online, and he's making a 300% return on his investment. And I'm looking at companies all day long, and a great company, great, has 15% EBITDA margins or free cash flow. Average company's 10%. I'm looking at companies all day long, less than 10%. So of course, I don't believe him. So I've got $3,000 saved up for car repairs. I go to New Mexico with him, and I do exactly what he tells me to do. I buy up 10 half-acre parcels, an average price of $300 each. I flip them online, and they all sell for an average price of $1,200 each. It worked. 300%. So I took all that money, went to another auction. This is in Arizona where I live. And again, there's no one in the room. I'm buying up lots and acres for nothing. And I saw all that land, and I made over $90,000 cash. Let's assume that you own 5 acres of raw land in Colorado, and you owe $200 in back taxes. So essentially, you're advertising two important things. I mean, number one, you have no emotional attachment to the raw land. You're in South Carolina, properties in Colorado. And number two, you're distressed financially in some weird way because you haven't paid your property taxes. As a result, the county treasurer keeps sending you notices saying, Brett, if you don't pay your taxes, you're going to lose that property to a tax deed or a tax lien investor. So all I'm going to do is look at the comparable sales for the last 12 to 18 months on your 5-acre parcel. I'm going to take the lowest comparable sale. Let's say it's $10,000, and I'm going to divide by 4. That's going to get me what Warren Buffett would call a 300% margin of safety. So I'm going to send you an actual offer for $2,500. Now, you accept it. Why? Because for you, $2,500 is better than nothing. In reality, 3 to 5% of people will accept my quote-unquote top dollar offer. But now that you've accepted it, I have to go through due diligence or in-depth research. I have to confirm you still own the property. I have to make sure that the back taxes are only $200. I want to confirm there's been no breaks in the chain of title, no liens or encumbrances. And so I have this whole big property checklist that my team in Jamaica performs. It costs about $11. They're connected to an American title company. Now, if I was investing, say, more than $5,000, I wouldn't even mess around. I would just go straight to a title company and close. But this is $2,500, so I can take a little bit of risk. Not a big deal. Probably not a long title chain anyways. And so let's assume everything comes back okay, and I buy the property from you for $2,500. So I'll send you a check for $2,300, a check to the treasurer for $200. I own it free and clear. And then, Brett, I'm going to sell this property 30 days or less, and I'm going to make it cash flow like a rental home. So I have a built-in best buyer. Do you know who it is?
Built-in best buyer. I want to, but I don't.
It's the neighbors. The
Neighbors. Oh,
so I'm going to send out neighbor letters saying, hey, here's your opportunity. Protect your privacy, protect your views, know your neighbor. Now, if the neighbors pass, I'll go to my buyers list. If the buyers list passes, I'll go to a website you may have heard of. It's called Meta or Facebook, buy-sell groups in the marketplace. And then I'll go to the lands. So landmodo.com, landsofamerica.com, land.com, landandfarm.com, landflip.com, landhub.com. These are platforms where people buy and sell raw land. But the secret is in the pricing. So all I'm going to ask for is a $2,500 down payment. So I'm going to get my money out on the down. Now I could go 6 to 10 months out. And then I'm going to make it a car payment. Let's say $297 a month at 9% interest for the next 84 months. So it's a one-time sale. Hopefully I get my money out on the down. And now I'm getting $297 a month and 9% interest for the next 84 months. Brett, no renters, no rehabs, no renovations, no rodents. And because we're not dealing with a tenant, we're exempt from Dodd-Frank, RESPA, and the SAFE Act, all this onerous real estate legislation. So it's a simple game. I really have a very simple sort of mission, right? It's like, how many people can I free? How many people can, I get them to either quit their W-2, if they're in house flipping, a better way of creating passive income for themselves. Like landlords, people who are sick of the tenants and toilets and termites. So I want to help everyone along the economic spectrum. So if you have lots of time and no money, I have free information. If you've got a W-2 or, a good profession and you have some time and you have some money, we can do it with you. And you have no time but lots of money, we have done for you. And really the next 3 to 5, 10 years, I just want to get better at helping people really achieve that goal, solve their time problems, solve their money problems, and for me, just leave that legacy. And so I want to die a good ancestor. What I've seen is that people who are very competent in one area of their life don't have the frustration tolerance when they're a total beginner, and they think it should be easier. And so their grit just goes away, and they just don't stay with it long enough, and they don't embrace the suck. And then they listen to another podcast and like, screw it, ATM investing, and they go on to the next thing. Where you and I both know there's nothing worth doing that's easy. It just doesn't exist. There is no get rich quick scheme. So if you're able to embrace the suck, stay with something long enough, everyone gets paid on a long enough time scale. So 3 years, right, is what I ask people to give up. 3 years, stay focused, work it, then see where you're at in 3 years.
Yeah, especially high performance people. We're so set in on, I've got to get better every single day. I've got to tick, 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 get better. And then when we start on it made me laugh because I love my son. He's 11 years old. And everything he picks up, he expects that he's going to be the best at it in the world. And I love that about him, and it gives him the confidence to pick up. But just like you're saying, that defeating repetition of just not being the greatest is tough to overcome sometimes. And people do make those jumps. And when you're stacking experiences, Mark, I say this all the time, take a little pivot, right? Don't jump completely away from something. So that way you can use the experience that you've built up over time and not, the next get rich quick scheme. There's no get rich quick. There is none.
It's sort of this inside job in a way when you're an entrepreneur. Can you manage your emotions? Can you stay, really clear-headed? Can you, not make emotional decisions when it looks like the world's falling apart? So I would say, if someone had told me to start meditating, I think I started meditating in 2010, that would have been a great skill to have, to be aware of the thoughts and not be so identified with them. I think that would, it would anchor me to then be able to think, okay, this is a cycle, I'm going to adjust and not feel so emotionally entangled with it. And so I wouldn't have suffered as much during that time. So I think that would have been helpful in 2009. But as far as like the tactical approach of just dealing with business and, the cash flow, when you start seeing your, like 50% of my note portfolio went away in 2010.
Oh wow.
Right. So just using
foreclosure.
Yeah. So just a profit first system by 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 would have been really helpful.
I love that book. That's a great profit first. Great read. Yep.
It's a great read, and it's a great system to really keep you out of trouble.